Hi, Karen. Welcome to the Mike Armstrong podcast show. How's it going today? You okay?
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me on here. Yeah, lovely Sunday evening.
Yeah, good. And this is my first sort of recorded Zoom whilst being simultaneously live on the podcast. So hopefully it's going to go well. But I just want you to have a chat with my podcast audience and let people know a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, so my name is Karen Fleming, and I run a company called KiVapor, and we're vaping specialists. So what we do is we basically help smokers to make the switch to vaping. And what this does is it empowers the smoker by, and I'll tell you a bit about that. See, when I was a smoker myself, I looked for my nicotine hit. I looked for, the feeling or the sensation of calm that it gave me when I was having a cigarette. So I'd have a cup of tea, I'd have a fag. If I had a stressful situation, I'd have a fag. So I had this strong association, and smoking gave me that calmness, or gave me that, peace. So what I discovered was about 7 years ago now, I came across my first vape, and I tried it. Now, I had quit so many times. That's it, I'm going to quit. And I would last one day. So I quit using various like patches, gums, the whole lot. Even tried hypnosis. But when I came across this vape that day, 6 years ago, I stopped within 24 hours. I never smoked after that. And why I found that was successful, because looking back, I was saying, how did that work and nothing else worked? Because it was giving me the same sensation and the same experience that the cigarette was giving me, but without the consequence of, let's say, sinus problems, headaches, low energy, things like that. So I was puffing away. I was getting the nicotine that I was looking for, but I wasn't getting all the chemicals that were in the cigarettes. So that's why vaping was so successful for me. And that's why I decided to form a business then in doing the same, to help other people to experience that.
Brilliant. I myself used to be a smoker myself back in the day. And, I'm, come from a sales background, and a lot of people in the sales background tend to smoke. I think because of the same reason. It's a stressful environment, stressful situation. And often they
Yeah.
find the smoking calms them down a bit, etc. as well. But my guess is probably a lot of people living in stressful lives who are still out there smoking. They've been told by the government and by everyone not to give it up, but they're still going on because they need that sort of release in their life. So, what you said there is quite interesting. So, what are your thoughts on that, really?
Well, it is very interesting because a lot of people, when they think of quitting smoking, for them, they have this association of it's my friend, it makes me feel good. So, it's like giving up something that is serving a purpose for you. So that's why it's so difficult, and you're relying on having a very strong mindset. So that's why when you're vaping instead of smoking, it's getting you away. Step one is you get away from the association of smoking a cigarette, right? And you move on to the vape. Step two then is to start on the nicotine requirements that you were on when you were smoking, or something similar that meets that need, and then reduce that down gradually over time. And then the third step then is to use your self-control then to just wean you off the last bit of vaping or the association. And it's possible, but what's happened is that a lot of people are not aware. Maybe there's not enough awareness out there as to the benefits of making this switch. And there's a lot of confusion out there as well, as where do I start, who do I go to, needing the education or the understanding about the products themselves, which product is suitable for me, will it work, because I've tried A, B, C, D to quit and it didn't work, and maybe they're thinking, will I bother? So that's why I'm telling you
Yeah.
today. You know, it does work, you know.
Okay, and also another thing which was part of the reason why I gave up smoking when I did is the packets of cigarettes were going up and 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 up all the time, and actually it
Yeah.
can get to a stage where you haven't got enough money to smoke really, and people are often giving up other things in order to smoke because they're addicted. Um,
Yeah.
just on that, what sort of money can you save by switching from smoking cigarettes to vaping?
Well, you know, depending on how much you're smoking, I'd say an average client maybe would save themselves maybe 100 quid a month, 150 quid a month, just by making that switch, you know, and that can go towards paying for a holiday, or maybe towards redecorating, or, you know, it could put food on the table,
What,
you
what,
know.
what would that
So
be based
yeah,
on? Is that based on a 20 a day habit?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay. That's why most people tend to smoke, don't they? Sometimes you get your 40 a dayers, but a 20 a day. So that's a lot of money. That's £100 a month, 1,200 pound a year.
And if you have a couple in a household, this is the big thing. If you've got a couple who smoke and they do it together, like, you see the savings, and, you know, the joy that it brings, and the stress it takes away as well. So number one, they're empowering their own lifestyle and their own health, and number two, they've got more money in their pockets, so they can look forward to, or put that money away for something.
Yeah, and I think as far as I've seen on the news and that sort of thing, it seems to be that the government is backing vaping and is trying to get people off smoking and onto vaping. What's your knowledge of that? How much better is vaping than smoking? Based on the stats and the facts and stuff.
Well, like, we had in the UK, let's say, they're very much pro vaping. I know the Royal College of Physicians had produced a report there a couple of years ago showing that vaping was 95% safer than smoking. So most of the studies that I've come across do show that it's the safer alternative to smoking, okay, but it's not necessarily, we don't know yet about the full effects of what vaping does. So we would encourage a smoker to switch to vaping, but not somebody who's not smoking at all. Um, so basically, I would operate from a place of the results that I would see with my customers. I've had thousands of people, come back to me saying, "Oh my gosh, like, my health has improved. I had a scan on my lungs, and, I had got very bad COPD, and now it's improved a bit better." And like, that's very good. But there was an issue there a couple of months ago, back in 2019, where there was some cartridges in the market. It was in America now, and there was a lot of lung related illnesses from cartridges that were vaped by people, and that was quite scary, that situation. There was People had died, and people had lung related illnesses. So it's very important that you go to a reputable place to buy your vape, and you know the products you're on. You do the education yourself, yeah, as well. You know what you're vaping. You know what's in it. There must be certificates to back up the products that you're buying, and they're reputable. So that's important.
Okay. And if I am a smoker, that I know some smokers, they don't like change. Some of them, part of
Mm.
giving up smoking is not just wanting to do it for health, or it could be habitual. People get into the habit of it and they don't want to change.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
heard of loads of smokers who are like, I wouldn't want to get down that vaping route because of all the technology, and it's too all fandangled and all of that. What would you
Mm.
say to those sort of people? How you can help them get into it in the first place?
Well, I would say is take the first step and keep it simple for you. So there's a lot of devices in the market. There's so many styles and shapes and the whole lot. But I would say start with something simple that works, and continue to use that product for a couple of weeks to a couple of months, until you get used to the idea of vaping, you get used to caring for your device, you get used to it. And then maybe look into other devices. But I think that's what can happen is you can start off on a big 200 watt mod and you don't know how to change the coil and you don't know how to use it, and or maybe you start off with a flavor in particular that you don't really like, so you've got to do the bit of research as well. So like if somebody was to come to me, I would guide them through that process and I would find out what their needs are at the time and guide them through that process. So there's very, very basic starter kits that you can work on, and straight away you can quit today with them,
Okay. And what do they sort of start from, those sort of kits?
Price wise?
Yeah.
Well, you could start from, say, around 30 quid, 35 quid. You could have a good device. Yeah. And then your maintenance of that device would be, you would buy your liquid for it and you would buy a filter. And the filter is the heating element within it that helps to produce the vapor. So you replace the filter every week to 2 weeks, and then you would replace the e-liquid as well.
Okay. So what, like 40, 50 pounds all in to get going?
So about, well, you could get started for 30, 35 quid today. There's a starter kit in mind. You could get started for that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's just like a couple of packs of cigarettes, really. A couple of packs of cigarettes.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. That. So, what made you get into the vaping? So it was just because you wanted to get off smoking yourself, you went into the business.
Yeah, like as I was saying, I had a lot of sinus issues, and I'm constantly getting antibiotics. So I'd be going back and forward to the doctor, and he'd be saying, "Did you quit the smokes?" Yeah, no, but I tried, and it didn't work. But when I came across the vape and I seen the change it made to my life, and my family, like my own mother was looking at me saying, nah, like I'd say about a week into that, we had a big party, a big girls' night out, and we were staying in a hotel. And my mom was looking at me across the room going, she's going to break it tonight, She's been doing really well off the fags, but she's got to break it, because I was having a few drinks. And I didn't. And the next day she said to me, how did you do that? She said, I want to get started. She said, how did you do it? And I said, the willpower that I needed before, I don't need the willpower this way, the way I did before. I said, so it's easy. So she said, right, that's it. I'm convinced. Start me up today. So I coached her through, and she was on 40 a day, and she had a COPD, and she knew the game was up. She knew herself that I can't keep smoking knowing I'm in this condition. I can't, but I don't have a solution. So when she seen it work for me that night, she said, right, that's it. So
you sort of saved her health, and you saved her a lot of money as well along the way.
Yeah, and she's still on it now. She's on it now 6 years. She's delighted with herself. But so I think when I seen the effects it had with me, and then when I seen it in close family, close friends, and then I began to, branch out, and then I decided I was going to open a store. We're probably one of the first ones to open in our area.
What area is that?
It was a bit of a risk, it was a bit of a risk at the time, will this work? But I was so convinced myself, because it worked for me, that was my message. This worked for me. It's up to you if you want to try it. And
what area was that? What area of Ireland was the shop?
So our store was in Drogheda in County Louth. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a town. There's about 60,000, 70,000 there. So one by one, smokers come in and decided to kick the habit, and we just started going from strength to strength, and then we started developing a couple of brands of e-liquid, our own brands, because I would travel out into different parts of Europe and find, new products, new ideas, and bring them back. So it was fun. It was fun times. And and then we opened a second store then in Balbriggan, and we're online as well. So
okay. What way can people find you online then?
Yeah. So our website is KiVapor. So it's www.kivapour.ie. And you can go onto our website there and get started straight away.
Okay. So how has the business been affected during the lockdown? Are you still trading?
No, we're not an essential service. We're not considered an essential service. So our stores are actually closed at the moment, but our online service is fully open, and we're making sure that all our customers get what they need.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is the
yeah.
online going well for you then? Is that a part of the business that's growing at the moment as people
I
can't
would
go to
say
the store
it's
shops?
growing at the moment, yeah, because people can't come into the store, so they're trying their best to switch over to the online service, and we're getting some new customers as well. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's fantastic. So, is there anything else at all that you think you need to tell the audience, or are we covered everything?
Well, I would say, if you're thinking to yourself, you know, why would I bother? Uh, I would say just contact me. I can do a one-to-one Zoom call with you. I can talk you through, the steps, and you can just think about it. You don't have to make the decision today, but if you're thinking about it, get in contact.
Yeah, well, it's always good to have a professional's opinion when you're thinking about doing something, and you can tell from your conversation there, you're obviously passionate and enthusiastic about what you do and helping people, etc. So hopefully, my audience will get in touch or visit the website, and you'll have some orders from the podcast. But thanks very much for appearing on my show, and have a good evening.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay,
Thanks
all
for
the
having
best.
me on. Take
Cheers.
care now. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.